over to San Bruno, which is now the headquarters of YouTube. Which, of course, you couldn't get into YouTube to speak with anybody. It's like Fort Knox. I couldn't believe when I heard YouTube is located on Cherry Avenue in San Bruno. So yes, I've spent my high school years in Cappuccino, green and gold, the Mustangs. And after high school, I moved up to San Francisco and was up in Haight-Ashbury in '68 when it was still Haight-Ashbury. Okay? Out on Hippie Hill out there. And then I lived in San Francisco in Chinatown, and I lived in Japantown area. So quite a bit of my, my time, teenage years and all of that was in California. So California is like home to me. And I would still be living in California, but you can't afford it. No way. I couldn't afford a closet anymore. Now, when I lived here, I didn't have money. I was living at the I Hotel when they still had it, where you had a room, it was a shared bathroom, shared kitchen, and that was it. Or I lived at the what was it called? Up on North Beach, there's a hotel that I had a room that I lived in for a while, because even then, apartments were so expensive. But I do have a lot of fond memories of that time. I did have a studio apartment for a time, which was nice, up by San Bruno. But even then, because I was just working minimum wage jobs, and even then it was expensive. But I have a lot of fond memories. I used to, when I lived up in Chinatown, I'd walk up to get coffee in the morning at Cafe Trieste. That's when the owner was still there, this fiery Italian woman, and she'd take guff from anybody. She would put them in her place. So again, I have a lot of very fond memories of that area. And if I could afford it, I would still be more than likely in that area. Now, I did have some horrible things happen there too. When I lived there, I had gotten raped, and a guy got into my place. I was living down in this bad area. It wasn't as bad then, but now it's really bad. By the Tenderloin area, I had an apartment, and the guy a knife to my throat and said, "You're lucky you don't wind up in the newspapers tomorrow." And at the time, I'm working at the courthouse. Yeah, at the courts, San Francisco courthouse. And whole system for them as to how to track all the clients they were having, the court dates, etc. I set up a whole system, and my boss took credit for it and fired me. Yeah. So nice. Yeah, I was actually even making some recommendations to the court. Yeah. But anyway, like I said, I do enjoy love California. It's just a bit more progressive and liberal in many areas than other places. And I really did love my time living in West Hollywood. Okay, over here in LA and West Hollywood. So quite a bit of my time was spent here in California, and for me it's like home. Okay, but like I said, I couldn't afford a closet here now. There's no way. No way on God's green earth. I could barely afford it back then. But now there's just, yeah. Couldn't happen in a million years. So when I can get away, you know, I do like to come over here to California. And even, you know, if I'm just spending a couple days, a few days. Now I have a person that I knew, you know, I've known her for so many years, but she's, what kind of, I don't know, kind of opposite in some things. She's always been a real heavy, stone cold hippie, a deadhead, smoking the smoke, toking the toke every day. And so now, because she's been smoking the smoke and toking the toke, she's on having to take air every day, you know. So she's on oxygen, having to live her life on oxygen now. Yeah. Even though I lived up in Haight-Ashbury, I was never into the drugs. Not my thing. Maybe that's another reason my skin is a bit better, because I've never drank. I've never been into drinking. I've never been into the drugs. I've never been into the, you know, being out in the sun and baking yourself all day. None of that. So maybe that's why my skin is a little bit less wrinkled than other people that are my age. Because alcohol and smoking and all of that will definitely take a toll. So I'm in here in LA now. The great LA parking lot. Entering the great parking lot area here of LA. Yeah. That's one thing, LA, the traffic is so bad. Now in one way I would love to stop, go on Melrose again to Earth Cafe. I just love it there. But you've got to have them park your car and everything, and I got the puppies in here, and so yeah, no. I have to bypass it. But yeah, that was my hang when I lived in West Hollywood, Earth Cafe on Melrose all the time. Now that's when they still had the big bookstore and everything there. That's gone now. And when they had that great tea garden, that was a great place as well. But my main hang was the Earth Cafe. They had the best, they made a chili, they made a great Caesar salad, and a lot of people from Hollywood things would hang out there. I met a lot of great people in the music field and movies, TV, etc. So that was nice. You saw, you know, some people came in and some people were really full of themselves, and other people were really down to earth. I'm so bad with names. Trying to think of his name. He unfortunately died. His car ran into something and he died. What is his name? He's on Will and Grace, the gay guy. And he really is like that in person. I was at Earth Cafe one time and he was right behind me and he goes, "Well, hello, pretty lady. How are you?" He really is, I mean, over the top, gay. And we sat down, we had some good conversation, really sweet guy. It was really sad to hear that he died like that. But, oh, Leslie, what's his name, Leslie? Like I said, I'm really bad with names. I'm lucky I remember my own. I've never been into names. Just never. In my whole life. But yeah, he was so funny. Well, hello there, pretty lady. Oh my goodness. Was a trip. So I mean, you know, I've met a lot of people. I've been in the studios and you know, living that life. To go hang out, but like I said, I've got the puppies and stuff, and finding parking out there by Melrose and stuff now is kind of a pain. So I'm just going to bypass LA day and continue onwards. But I might toddle off up to San Francisco area and go out by Pacifica and stuff. Again, I haven't been there for a long time. And we'll see. We'll see. Now the puppies this morning, they already went. I've got my Dutch brothers and they got their very special bone this morning. Bones from there are so special. When the ones you give them at home, they turn their nose up and won't touch them. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've been out, and I've had the fog in the morning and all of that. Some great food out here too. I remember the one place you'd go and you'd get chicken shawarma and they would make this garlic butter and the pickles. Was it turnip pickles or something like that? So good. Out here by West Hollywood area. Really, really yummy. Like I said, I'm just bypassing this now. Universal Studios, that brings back some memories. Said I'm so bad with names. Natalie Wood's husband. I got to meet him. He was on the set and he came over and introduced himself. He really had a presence about him. Then I was hanging out in the trailer when they were doing Adam 12. Now the one guy, he was married, the guy with the darker hair. Very nice guy, and I was kind of keeping score for them when they'd go do their take and they'd come in and ask me the score. Forget if it was basketball or baseball, it was some sort of a sports thing. And then the guy was flirting flirting with me, the guy with the blonde hair. I don't know, I thought he was kind of a creep. Yeah, no, I'm not interested. He was one of those that just thought, you know, he could flirt and he's gonna charm people into bed with him, and, you know, yeah, no, I don't think so. Oh, Marty Milner, that was his name, Marty Milner. He's got the blonde hair, and yeah, he was kind of a creep. Yeah. The other guy was very sweet though, very nice guy. Yeah, I guess I've had an interesting life. Met a lot of people. Went to Gypsy Kings. The Gypsy Kings concert. And afterwards, JD and I were standing there, and the Gypsy Kings came out. And Canute Reyes says, come here. And he invited us, and we were on the bus with them, and went over, and we sat with him, and did music until it was time for him to go. Now his brothers were Casanovas. They were, you know, out hanging out with these drunk women and hanging all over them and everything, and, you know. But Canute was not like that at all. He was very much a gentleman. And his brothers would come in with these drunk women, and they go, oh, play something, and he'd send them out, you know, no. But we sat there and did music all night. After he just finished all this concert, we still sat there and did music. Really a nice guy. And then after that, he stopped touring with them anymore. Like I said, his brothers were, you know, drinking and carousing, you know, with these drunk women hanging all over him. And, you know, he was just not into that at all. So yeah, he stopped touring with them, which I can't blame him, you know, because that wasn't his thing at all. But yeah, that was a good time. Anyway, lots of memories. Lots of memories of stuff. Some good, some bad, some ugly. You leave the ugly and the bad behind, and you know, go forward. Anyway, on that note, I'll leave that here as I continue to wind my way up the road. And I don't know where I'll wind up. Maybe I'll stop at Yosemite. You know, like I said, I haven't really decided. I just, when I can get away, I like to get away, and I like to be on the road. Yeah, like I said, somebody asked me, why are you doing reading in the car? Well, why not? Why not? Maybe they don't like to travel. Maybe they're, a homebody, and a lot of people are homebodies. They don't like it. But I like to be on the road. And I'm not going to stay home because somebody wants to ask, well, why are you doing it in your car? Because I'm on the road, because I want to be. It's that simple. I don't know. I guess people think if you're in the car, all of a sudden you don't have a home, or I don't know what the heck they're thinking. I do have a home. But equally, when I'm in here, this is my home on wheels. Okay? I enjoy being here as much as I do in my, home base. Yep. So that's that. I don't know, maybe I'll go over to Sausalito as well. I used to take the bus from San Bruno up to Sausalito, and I'd take my guitar and I'd go out the park in Sausalito and play a lot of folk music. I'd be wearing my corduroys and a black turtleneck, caramel colored corduroys and a black turtleneck, and take my guitar and I'd go play folk music. Oh my goodness. Crazy things. Crazy things. But yeah. All good.